Hey everybody, welcome to Friday PM. It's Luigi Scarcelli here. We're gonna be doing something a little different this weekend. Instead of being live in the studio, I'm up here in Bar Harbor, Maine. You can see the great scenery around me. We're gonna be talking to Skip at the Tool Barn. He's a great guy. It's world famous. We're gonna be talking to the folks at the Seal Cove Auto Museum. And we're also gonna hear some music from Buck Edwards, a great musician. That's back in Portland at Coppersmith. But stick with us. It's gonna be a great show. We're happy to have you here. Thanks again.
We are very happy to be here at the Seal Cove Auto Museum
Yes.
with Ethan Yankura.
Yankura.
Yankura, good to see you,
You as
Ethan.
well.
All right, great to see you. So I was here for a birthday party before. I was blown away. I didn't even know this existed. Seal Cove, and it's got cars from everywhere. We're going to be taking a look at a lot of these cars in a minute or two, but we want to kind of learn a little bit more about the history of the place, how it was started, and you seem to be the guy that knows everything about it.
I know a few things.
Okay. So when did this museum, you said it was 60 years ago?
So this 2023 is our 60th anniversary. We were incorporated by our founder, Richard C. Payne Jr. in 1963. It was founded as a private foundation, and he was one of those indiscriminate collectors. He really had a focus for the mechanicals, like it was automobiles, there were motorcycles, cash registers, Victrolas, cigar store, Indians. There was a little bit of everything in here. And it was quite an operation for many years. And when he passed away in 2007, there was a decision to be made. I kind of look at it as the story of two museums. There was the museum when Richard was alive, and then after his passing, a decision had to be made, and his wishes were that a large number of the automobiles and engines and ephemera would be sold to create an endowment to help support the collection that you see in the museum today. So he had established this while he was living, and then the museum reformulated and became its own entity, and have been doing so since 2008.
Okay. And so originally it was a full museum of a lot of things, not just automobiles.
Right.
And so what you're saying is that he sold some of the, just to be able to, at a really good like markup, I assume.
It was actually through an auction at Bonham's.
Okay.
Here in the state of Maine, I was lucky enough to actually be a part of the auction. I had never seen the collection in its entirety as Richard had assembled it.
Yeah.
But I've seen it that at auction, and that's remained here. But we traded cars. It was a lot of fun.
So just to delve back to this gentleman, like what year was he born and what was his story a little bit?
Oh, it's the year he was born. I would have
Hard to say,
Yeah,
but he was,
to look that up.
but he, yeah.
But he was a lifelong collector. In fact, what is now a storage facility down the street about a half a mile was originally his Saab dealership.
Okay.
It was one of the first, if not the first, dealer in Saab automobiles in the state of Maine.
And they were pretty popular for a long time. You don't see as many Saabs anymore, but they,
No.
one time in the 80s and 90s, that was the kind of the hot new car.
Yes.
So he starts it out. It's kind of evolved now. Let's talk a little bit about kind of like what are some of the signature cars? Do you guys focus on cars of different generations? Is it?
So the focus of the museum is what's referred to as the brass era of the automobile. And that's roughly 1895 to 1917. And it's really indicated, the name itself kind of tells you what you'll be looking at. But there was a transition in 1916, 1917, where the headlamps and the trim and the horns had been brass, and then they transitioned with nickel. So you'll often see brass and nickel combined when you're talking about a certain period of automobiles. But by and large, what you see here in the museum is pre-1917. There are a few examples that deviate from that. The Model A right behind us
Yeah,
is
right
one
there.
example that falls outside that category. But we really like to look at the foundation of the automobile. And more importantly, the vast majority of the vehicles in the museum are American, built in the Northeast and in New England.
And so, couple questions on that. Number one, are you guys still acquiring automobiles? Like,
Yes, we actually, in 2022, the museum made the commitment to actually start an endowment fund toward acquisitions.
that's that endowment. Okay.
And, well, we started our own fund.
Okay.
It's something that we took on ourselves. We felt it was important to be able to acquire vehicles. We actually took in a vehicle on loan this morning, 1906 Wayne, which is a beautiful little two-place runabout, two-cylinder, horizontally opposed, 1906. So you'll see many vehicles are on loan from individuals around the museum's collection.
And that was what I was going to ask you, was that you're, obviously, not that you wouldn't want to own all these, but a lot of them are on loan from collectors, and they like to have, just like a museum of art would have a lot of times.
That's great.
Okay, interesting. And we're just kind of in the general viewpoint of cars of that era. Were these, to have a car in those days was very unique, wasn't it? I mean, this was not something everybody had.
That's right. And one of the exhibitions that our visitors will see takes a look at a period on Mount Desert Island history that was known as the Auto Wars.
Okay.
And in the early years of the 20th century, there was actually a ban of automobiles on the island.
Right.
There were a couple of towns and villages that would allow them, but it was actually something that if you go digging through newspapers across the country, you find stories about this war that a small island in Maine was having against the automobile.
Then that was people that were against this progress or what it was doing, or maybe it was probably had more to do with the roads, maybe that they didn't like this carbon.
That was part of it. There was a large influence with the carriage trails in Acadia National Park.
Yep.
And keeping things pristine.
Sure.
And automobiles were a big disruption in the early 20th century.
So, I mean, in those days, they probably, I mean, as we all know from like Walden and things, there was environmentalists in those days who probably saw cars as very polluting because they didn't like I mean, you could just see what a car would do, especially in those days,
Right.
Probably churning smoke out everywhere, other than the electric cars that they seem to have had in those days.
Yes.
But they probably noise pollution, just the quality of life they didn't like. Yeah. So that was an Auto Wars. Is that something that people can look up? So it's probably somewhere on.
It is, and like I said, it's part of the installation
Here
this year. So our visitors will be able to see that story along with several others.
And so, speaking of which, you had a couple of things that you told me about that were coming up, the vacation land installations and things, just so that we can explain to the viewers who probably will come down here, like what's going on with all of that a little bit.
Okay, so as part of our 60th anniversary celebration, we decided rather than one large exhibition, we wanted to take a sort of a retrospective look at some of the work that has been presented at the museum before. Auto Wars has each of the exhibitions that we've presented, with one exception, have been full-blown museum-wide installations. And we pared them down and ordered the museum. So you get a little taste of previous exhibitions. Auto Wars is one of them. Another is Engines of Change, which is a celebration of the centennial of the 19th Amendment, which was the women's right to vote. That exhibition was launched in 2020, which coincided with the centennial of the 19th Amendment. But unfortunately, it also coincided with the outbreak of COVID-19. So
I remember, yeah.
it was something that might not have gotten as much exposure as it otherwise would have. But it's a great look at how the automobile and motorized transportation played a part in assisting women in spreading the word in getting the vote and earning. We also have art and advertising, which is a look at the early advertising art that went along with these wonderful vehicles and the artists who created it. And the final component is the new element is becoming vacation land.
Right.
And that in the coming year, for 2024, that will become a museum-wide installation. And that will really look at the role that the automobile played in transforming the landscape of Maine and how we became vacation land from the Maine Publicity Bureau, the Grand Hotels, and then the advent of the motel, kind of as people began traveling on their own in their own vehicles rather than arriving by train or steamship. So it really will dive into how this landscape of Maine was changed, but also facilitated in becoming more accessible through the use of personal transportation.
Well, it's interesting in a couple of ways. I mean, that's kind of like where other parts of the country, maybe the railways, that was integral in them, but this Maine was really expansive due to, I mean, there probably was some train type of things, but that's not exactly, that's what created that was, and so does it coincide really historically, bit by bit with, automobiles became more affordable, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. Prior to the 20th century, most visitors who arrived in Maine, they did come by train, they came by steamship, and we have all of these wonderful stories. The depot hack, which a lot of people see as it looks like a station wagon. And depot hack and station wagon, those two terms are integral to each other, and they harken back to that period where when you arrived at whatever your destination was by train, that was the depot, and a hack was a taxi. So the depot hack would take you from the train station to your hotel or whatever your final destination was.
And that became kind of like a prototype to the station
And,
wagon.
and then the station wagon was
Took that idea and
a derivation.
Yeah.
Instead of the train depot, you have the train station.
Right. And I mean, it does seem as though if you looked at more of the well-to-do people that were able to come here in the early days, they probably didn't have the big families. The working class folks maybe had the bigger families. How do people get here? And that became the onset. And were the highways and the new roads, was that all coming along at the same time?
That was a big part of it. The foundation of the Maine Publicity Bureau was hand in hand with the Maine Economic Association. And I won't spoil the story.
Yeah, exactly.
But the way they intertwine it's really fascinating how the roads in Maine were really miserable in the 20th century, and there weren't a whole lot of them. So as roads improved, as cars became more affordable and more available, I don't look at it as a chicken or an egg. I look at it as a circle.
As one big thing.
There are points around this circle that you couldn't have the circle unless they all existed.
All came together. So if you could tell the audience how the dates they can come here, the days of the week, how to get here. I was going to say how to get here, but you kind of got to figure it out on your own. I don't know if you could tell them that much.
Sure. It's not as difficult to get here.
Right,
It's will make it out to be.
Sure.
But you can find directions to the museum on our website.
On the website.
SealCoveAutomuseum.org.
Right here. Yeah.
We're open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. from May 1st until October 31st. Throughout the season, we have cars and coffee events on Saturdays. Find all of this information on our website and on our Facebook page. This weekend, we have our Woodies and Wagons, Cars and Coffee. So that gives me a chance to break out the depot hack and talk a little bit about that.
Right.
So we have our big barbecue is the name of the event. We'll have 3 bands, food trucks, car show. It's a great event, fun for the whole family. Definitely something that people won't want to miss.
So August 5th, 2023, check that out. Like you said, it's August 5th, 23?
August 5th.
August 23. And then aren't you doing also the driving the cars around on Tuesdays? I saw that in the newspaper.
On Mondays, we have Monday
Mondays.
motors.
Yep, Monday
And
motors.
that's between 1 and 2:30. We like to pick times, 11 and 2 are nice. But when we have a nice audience at the museum,
When it's not raining outside. like
when
it
it's
is
not
today.
raining, we'll
Exactly.
take something from the collection that runs. It was raining yesterday, which was a Monday, and they actually did the demonstration in the auto workshop. So we're not 100% weather permitting, but if it's something that we want to drive around, we
Try,
want to make sure
right.
that the weather's good.
And that's Mondays. We're going to take a look around and see some more with the Seal Cove Auto Museum. So stick with us. Thanks.
Sweltering hot cars, to choking dust and exhaust, to shivering in zero cold. With all-season air conditioning, you simply turn one knob to ride cool in summer, warm in winter, and enjoy filtered fresh air in any weather all year round. Own a spectacular new Rambler with complete year-round air conditioning. It's the lowest priced air-conditioned car in America. Yes, low-cost all-season air conditioning is the right kind for you, and you're so right to choose a 55 Rambler Cross Country, now at all Nash dealers, with all the glamour of a luxurious family sedan, plus the utility of a rugged station wagon. Another reason why American Motors means more for America.
And now a word from our alternate sponsor, your dependable Dodge dealer.
So I was wondering, Ethan, do all of the automobiles here actually run, or?
Unfortunately, no.
No, okay.
But a good number of them do.
Yeah.
If you look around, I can see some legs sticking out from underneath the 1914 Stanley Mountain Wagon.
Yeah, there's definitely
It's a
some.
Stanley steam car.
Yep.
It's great to see something under steam operating, but we do have a good number of cars that run.
That actually run. And you probably have something that stands out as like your most unique piece. I think when I was here before, there are some cars that not only, I mean, automotively are they really unique, their history is really unique. And I remember there was one or two of those.
And we actually do have a few vehicles that are the definition of unique. They are the only one of their
Only
kind
one, yeah.
in the world.
That's unique.
And I can think of two of those right now that are in running condition.
Wow.
And I always tell people, if you ask me what my favorite car is, it's a little bit like having multiple children, and it's the one that you're my favorite today. Oh no,
Exactly.
really?
Right.
He's not my favorite. But
Right.
it depends on what you're working with and what you're doing research on. That everything here is fascinating in its own way, whether it's historically, mechanically. There's something behind just about everything.
And was there any one car that was also, I think it was mostly what you said about women's suffrage. A lot of they were really tied to that historically.
We actually have a vehicle. It's a 1916 Saxon that is a representation of a car that was driven by two women, not just across the country, but around the four corners of the country. I think they drove over 10,000 miles. Alice and Nell were their names, and we have a representative Saxon that's painted up to look like their car. It has the stenciling on the doors that show the city and town, the major cities that they visited. And it's also a great piece in that we can let kids and families get in the car and has their pictures taken with supervision. So it gives people a little bit of a sense, even if it's only for a few moments, what it was like to be in one of these cars, let alone for 10,000 miles.
10,000 miles most time. And I think the one other question with that, for all of the kind of the under the hood junkies out there, do you guys have guys that fix these here, or?
We do. I mentioned our volunteers, but
Yep.
we also have a senior mechanic on staff who is wonderful. He's a great teacher.
Okay.
He's not just a mechanic, but he does wonderful work with the volunteers in shepherding them through the process of working on these vehicles. So it's as much a learning environment as it is a mechanical and a shop.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you very much, Ethan, for taking the time out. We'll be right back after this.
In the dull and commonplace occurrences of day-to-day living, one thing stands out as a completely unique experience. Colt 45 malt liquor.
Hey everybody, we're back here at Friday PM. I'm here with Skip, who is the proprietor of the Tool Barn, super well-known, Hulls Cove. It's been here forever. Any tool you want to find, you can find it here with Skip at the Tool Barn. This place is great. We're going to be showing some photos and video that we took walking around. I know you're also in Liberty.
Yeah.
Yep. So when did you first kind of establish the Tool Barn?
Well, let me see. We opened as a Jonesport Wood Company in West Jonesport in 1970. Then about 1974, I bought Liberty Tool. And then 1983, I bought this place and moved here from West Jonesport.
Okay.
83.
83.
I've been here since 83.
So you live here full-time in Hulls Cove. You
Yeah,
like
right.
living on the island.
Oh, yeah.
And so what happens with the other tool barn? Did somebody else run that too, or that's?
Well, in Jonesport, I ran Jonesport. And then when we purchased Liberty Tool and we opened Liberty 1974, then we had helpers down here. And so we've been in business, we started the 54th year.
That's wild.
Last week.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking how fast time goes by, right? And it's
Don't get old.
so. Were you always somebody that loved tools? I mean, what was your upbringing a little bit?
Well, I used to be an English teacher,
Okay.
and I think writing books is my thing.
So, like, what if a buyer or a seller wants to come here to kind of take a look at all the tools?
Yeah.
Like, what do you specialize in certain things, or?
Just a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Of course, we like woodworking tools. So maybe our specialty is woodworking tools, chisels, gouges, planes. If you look in there, you see all the planes from the window of the barn. That's the parts component. And of course, have you been upstairs yet?
Yep. Yeah, we checked out upstairs. And is it to the point where some people just like almost like it's a museum in a sense upstairs? I mean, do people go just to see a lot
Our
of it?
customers are buying stuff we're going to use.
They will. Yeah.
And maybe 5% are buying things to hang on the wall.
Yep.
So we like our customers who want to use the tools.
Sure. And then just for other folks that want to know more about when they can come here, is there? It's open sometimes by appointment.
Well, I would say 7 days a week, but call ahead during the week.
Yes.
I'll make sure I'm here. But unless I have to go to the doctor or something, I'm here 7 days a week.
You'll come in and open it up and let people take a look around.
Generally, we 10:30 to 4:30 typically every day, and our customers would have to come up the back door and ring the bell, and I'll tell them what to do.
Sure.
Get set.
That was pretty good vibe for a change. What was it? Blueberry tang? Yeah, blueberry. First contest, kid? Follow me. This is Alka-Seltzer. Gets rid of that stuffy feeling. When you've been on the circuit as long as I have, you'll know. See you around, kid.
Next time you overeat, take what the guys who overeat for a living take. Alka-Seltzer.
We're back here with Skip Brack, and Skip not only has the tool barn, which is like a Maine establishment, everybody knows it, and it's also Liberty Tools.
Yeah, Liberty Tool.
And but you're also a well-known publisher and writer, written a lot of books over the years. Some of them are about tools, but I think some also are some interesting things that you have some knowledge about, like seismology, radiation, things like that. But did you want to talk about some of these tool books that were pretty interesting?
Well, let me see. I think my favorite publication of one of my best-selling books is this Nora Bigger Reconsidered Molosum in the Wollongong Diaspora. And that's about the Native Americans who lived here. And then the French came and the English came and that sort of thing. And so a lot of history in this.
That's super cool.
So I think this is my favorite publication. Those are all kinds of stuff about Native Americans and the history.
And if you, if you want to turn the book right to the camera guy, the front of it, there you go, get a nice shot of it. Yeah. And so I'm curious about this. Does this, again, is this specialize in your knowledge of tools in the sense that you were talking about what the Native Americans were using for the more, quote unquote, primitive tools to build things?
Some information on that. But,
yeah.
But if you look in the history of the Moloshian community.
Yeah.
And all the local history.
Well, and the interesting thing is were tribes and things like that, did they necessarily need as many tools? Because when you're traveling around and you're kind of living off the land, maybe you're less dependent on tools because of the...
Well, every community had the specialized tools they needed, but of course, many of the relate to the fisheries and maritime,
the stuff that kept them going. And were a lot of the Native Americans, when you're saying the maritime, were a lot of them trying to always be close to the water because that's where the fishing was?
Yeah.
And it's interesting now, even in modern days, like real estate is always more expensive by the water. And I feel like that's just something that's been like that since the beginning, because that's, if you're near the water, it's where it's fish and it's easier to get to irrigating things with the water from it.
For example, Mount Desert Island was settled by the French and then the English in the 1750s.
Okay.
Maybe some French settlers before that, but then the English came. A lot of history there.
And then Rockefeller came and made the park, and it became the playground for the wealthy. Yeah. And it seemed like it got more relaxed of a place, but now in the past few years, it's become very hoity-toity again. And the time of it, I think a lot of people, we talked to the Auto Museum during COVID, I think a lot of people decided they wanted to getting to vacations where they could drive.
Yeah.
Less people were going to Hawaii or Europe. So they came more to places like Maine, and it got very popular here, and it's still pretty popular. And then there's a handbook of iron works. That looks very cool. And this is something that people would be very interested in. They're in blacksmiths. That's cool.
Yep.
Glossary of famous metallurgy terms. And then this was steel and tool making strategies. So this is a lot of history books that are definitely good for the tool buffs.
Well, I think our specialty could be described as the history of tool making.
History of tool making.
Yeah.
in all of civilization, or specifically Latin America?
Wow.
Yeah,
Some of the tools.
that is interesting to see how tools have evolved.
Ancient tool making techniques, the origin of metal,
Yeah,
copper age to the modern technology.
and you kind of learn how all of history existed through the existence of tools. Yeah, and archaeology almost in that too. And then this last one here, or you got two more, I think.
Yeah, this is our most recent publication. And it's an iconography of American hand tools. So this would tell you the different kinds of tools that were made, hook shaves and broad eyes, and chisels, caulking iron.
Yep, look at that. It's very cool. And you can see some of these, a lot of them in the tool barn itself.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And you can find again on Amazon.
Yeah. So all of these are available.
All of them. And then this last one here was a Registry of Maine Tool Makers.
Oh, if we concentrate on homemade tools in Maine, this is the definitive publications and stuff. And here's the listings that we made. You know, if you see that A.D. Grau,
Yeah.
well, he was working in 1855 and made shovels. Well, nothing too interesting, but still, we have.
That's.
And
And how did you find? Yeah. How? And this was extensive research to see all the tool makers. And you said in Maine specifically.
Yeah.
It's a great history to show. Yeah.
Maine tool makers.
Yep. All of the people
tool makers
from way back when. Yeah.
That's been my specialty.
Your specialty.
Maine tool makers.
Well, if you get out to the tool barn, you've got to say hi to Skip and Judy. Check this place out this summer. Judith as well. Thank you so much, Skip.
Okay, well.
It's good to see you, sir. And I'll be back here, but we'll be right back after this break. Thanks a lot.
Lư thương tiểu khổ Lư thương tiểu khổว่าถอยเลยแม่งมึงเหล่าสิว่าเลือหล่อจำอย่าปากว่าเลือจะเห่าแซ่เลือแถวอ่ะว่าถอยเลือแม่งเกี้ยวว่าละมวยห่อนะอังโม่เลือปล่อยจนแม่ขอเที่ยวโม่ไปก่อนห่อนะว่าจ่อเซ็งแซ่ชาจับหัวมีไก่วงห้วย
Hello, everybody. Buck T. Edwards here. Great to be talking to you on this fine morning. We've got some wonderful music coming out. I've spent the last 6 months doing a new album. I got 15 new songs, and you're going to hear some of them today. I hope you'll check them out. I'll be playing around Southern Maine all summer. You can go to www.buckedwards.com to see my schedule, and I hope you enjoy the music, and I hope you'll come out to see me this summer. Thank you all, and here we go.
Well, hello, everybody. My name's Buck. Thanks for sticking around. I've been working the last 6 months on a brand new album, and we just finished recording this one yesterday. So I hope you like it. A little summer song called Summer Looks Good on You. It does look good on you. Beach chairs by the ocean, near a palm tree in the sand, sipping margaritas as I reach out for your hand. Ooh, catch a sunbeam. Those eyes are blue. Ooh, bay, watching while you're sleeping always takes my breath away. Ooh, that's my story. Ooh, and it's true. Song. Ooh, summer looks good on you. It ain't the get-up you got on makes me feel this way. When I wrap my eyes around you, girl, here's what I gotta say. Catch you someday. Those eyes are blue. For my endless summer. And summer looks good on you. Thank you guys so much. You can see we've got a beautiful film crew here tonight.
Keep rolling.
I'd love to thank Luigi for coming down. And his crew of masters and stuff like that. Key&D now. Like I said, I got a brand new album. What we're going to do, try out a few new tunes from it. Hope you enjoy them. And if you do listen to music somewhere, the name's Buck T. Edwards. And anywhere you stream music, you'll find about 10 albums. Saturday night, drinking bourbon whiskey in the neon light. Here's that music, jumps up on the bar, dancing and singing like a movie star. Yeah, 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 she's my movie star. That's my kind of crazy. Takes the world and turns it upside down. I know she's quite a lady, but that's my kind of crazy. Yeah, my kind of crazy. All right. She can handle any guy in town. Roughneck cowboy, rodeo clown. They think I put one over, well, they don't stand a chance. My girl, show 'em who wears those pants. Yeah, 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 she wears those pants. And that's my kind of crazy. Takes the world and turns it upside down. I know she's quite a lady, but that's my kind of crazy. Yeah, my kind of crazy. Check it out. Used to think maybe she'd settle down with a white picket fence out on the edge of town. Now I'm certain she ain't changing her ways. She'll drive me crazy till the end of my days. That's my kind of crazy. Takes the world and turns it upside down. I know she's quite a lady, but that's my kind of crazy. Yes, my kind of crazy. Takes the world and turns it upside down. I know she's quite a lady, but that's my kind of crazy. Yes, my kind of crazy. Take it out. Here's one for lovers and lovers at heart. Sipping margaritas at a roadside cantina. Swapping jokes at the bar with a sweet senorita. The hours slipped by and that girl looked as hot as could be. When my buddy pulled me aside, said, listen to me. If you don't get it by midnight, you ain't gonna get it. And even if you get it, it's probably not worth it. If you're trying to figure it out, you better forget it. 'Cause if you don't get it by midnight, you ain't gonna get it. So I sat right back on my bar stool and I started thinking, was I falling for her or just feeling the drinks I was drinking? Then I looked in her eyes, which were beautiful as could be. And I forgot all about the advice my buddy gave me. If you don't get it by midnight, you ain't gonna get it. And even if you get it, it's probably not worth it. If you're trying to figure it out, you better forget it. 'Cause if you don't get it by midnight, you ain't gonna get it. All right, Scotty, let's play one. Was holding my arm as we staggered on out to the pavement. A taxi was waiting to take us back to my apartment. Well, she buckled me in, but I got sick all over the seat. And as my buddy and her waved goodbye, I could hear them repeat. If you don't get it by midnight, you ain't gonna get it. And even if you get it, it's probably not worth it. If you're trying to figure it out, you better forget it. 'Cause if you don't get it by midnight, you ain't gonna get it. Yes, if you don't get it by midnight, you ain't gonna get it. And that's why Buck always ends his shows by 11:30.
Danger excites me, but I can't fully enjoy it when I smell like fear and body odor, so I prepare myself with a manly scent of Old Spice Danger Zone. Because even if something bad does happen to a Danger Zone man, it won't smell like something bad happened, because the secret to smelling good is... And when you smell like Old Spice Danger Zone, trust me, you'll smell like you have nothing to worry about.
You smell like you look amazing.
Amazing, I know.
Introducing Old Spice Danger Zone with all-day odor protection.
driving in her pickup truck, cruising across the Texas plain, through the cactus and the tumbleweeds, playing such a wicked game. She's driving in her pickup truck, splashing through the wind and rain, out searching for the man she loved, put a bullet in his brain. Caught him cheating again one night with Rosalita, girl from the bar. So she went and got her 45, but she didn't get that far. She's driving in her pickup truck, cruising across the Texas plain, through the cactus and the tumbleweeds, playing such a wicked game. She's driving in her pickup truck, splashing through the wind and rain, out searching for the man she loved, put a bullet in his brain. Let's go, Scotty! Caught up with him out El Paso way, dealing poker in a red dirt saloon. They say she smiled when she pulled the hammer back, gunsmoke filling up that road. She's driving in her pickup truck, cruising across the Texas plain, through the cactus and the tumbleweeds, playing such a wicked game. She's driving in her pickup truck, splashing through the wind and rain, out searching for the man she loved, put a bullet in his brain. One more time, Scotty! She's driving in her pickup truck, cruising across the Texas plain, through the cactus and the tumbleweed, playing such a wicked game. She's driving in her pickup truck, cruising through the Texas plain, out searching for the man she loved, put a bullet in his brain. She's driving in her pickup truck, cruising across the Texas plain, through the cactus and the tumbleweed, playing such a wicked game. She's driving in a pickup truck, splashing through the wind and rain. She went and found the man she loved and laid him down in his grave. Now that's what I call a Texas love song. Thank you guys. Once again, my name is Buck. It's been a privilege, been a pleasure. We got one more for you here, a little rock and roll tune, and it's a song about you. About me? Or you? Here we go. You're surprised, I wrote a song about you. Thought I'd forget about what you put me through. Well, I'm not ashamed, and I'm not feeling blue. Guess here we go with my song about you. Sweet little lips and baby blue eyes, took me right in. It was a perfect disguise. Thought it was love, Yes, I thought it was real. So I played the fool while you played the field. I guess I was hurt when I found out the truth. So I sat down and wrote this song about you. Here we go. It's just a surprise. I wrote a song about you. Thought I'd forget about what you put me through. I'm not ashamed and I'm not feeling blue. And I guess we'll go on with my song about you. We had some good times, or so it seemed. You said you were all mine, then you crushed all my dreams. Thought it was love, yes, I thought it was real. So I played the fool while you played the field. I guess I was hurt when I found out the truth. And I guess we'll go on with my song about you. Come on, Scotty, let's go. It's a surprise. I wrote a song about you. Thought I put out what you put me through. Well, I'm not ashamed and I'm not feeling blue. And I guess that's the end of my song about you. Yes, I guess that's the end of my song about you.
Buck Edwards, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Woo! Little buck for you right there.
Buck Edwards.
The crowds, the noise, the same old bag of notes. Wouldn't you like something new to rock out with? This is it. The 1970 442 with 455 cube V8 engine standard. Order it with the new W25 package and you get it all. Fiberglass hood with air-grabbing scoops, locking hood pins, super wide wheels, bucket seats, Hurst shifter, dual exhaust. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a 442? Oldsmobile. Escape from the ordinary.
It's our show, folks. I want to thank Skip at the Tool Barn,
as well as Buck Edwards and the folks at the Seal Cove Auto Museum. Have a great weekend. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.